Are we getting what we desire? So me, it is not about electing every 4 years. It's about giving the people what they want, no matter the system. But except that, even when you are ready to serve, you wouldn't even persecute or even want to kill the people. I hope you are getting the argument. Look at Libya, for instance. When Gaddafi was there for a very long period of time, the people were just... I have brothers who have been to Libya. Through Libya, some have been to Italy and Spain. Alaji, one of them told me that he regretted of leaving Libya to Italy. Yes. Well, the money he was getting in Libya is far better, more than the money he's getting in Italy. Was Libya, he doesn't pay rent. Libya electricity, he doesn't pay. He said Libya, the only place they cost is water. Water is more expensive than fuel. Sure. Yeah. But in Europe, you can't get it that way. I hope you are getting. But this regime change mongers, what do they do? And today, what is the fate of Libya people? I hope you are getting the argument. You see, but when we also critically analyze it, Nkrumah and Kono have gone away, but there are still some group of people, the Western, they still don't want the progress of Africa. That is why I know this Ibrahim, the wonderful things he's doing. I'm afraid of him, whether he will last. Whether the Western world will allow him to continue what he's doing, especially the French and other people. Exactly. We are a sovereign country. We decide what we do. So why must any other people have problem with our president or our leaders on LGBT? What is the issue? We don't want it. It is not part of our culture. We abhor it. Period. We can still be friends. So the fact that we are friends, should I accept whatever you are doing? No.
No. Yes, sir. Good morning to the church, and thanks for the opportunity. My brother, it's always refreshing to be on the panel with honest politicians. Very honest politicians. I love their presentations. I'm telling you. Yes.
It's about nation development.
Yes, I'm telling you, I'm so much grateful. These two gentlemen are not showcasing the destructive NDC, MPP, duopoly. They are showcasing their sense of patriotism, their love for Africa, their love for humanity. Thank you so much. I agree with them. Yes. Let me also add that my presentation is based on 3 elements. 3. 1, vindication. 2, agreement. And 3, disagreement. I have been vindicated, and I'm so much happy that I have been vindicated. When Ibrahim came to power, and he was arguing that he just came to stabilize the country, just as you mentioned. Solo and I, you can find out from Solo. Solo, I'm referring to Solo of the movement. Yeah. Yes. Solo of UP Plus, right? Solo, my good friend. He and I sat down here and condemned. We disagreed. We told the world that this guy would test power, and at the end of the day, he would find a justification to remain in power. We said that, and we have been vindicated. We did not necessarily oppose him. No, we did not necessarily oppose him. But we made it clear that whether constitutional governance or military dictatorship, it must be the will of the people. So I agree, and that's why I'm so much happy when you made it clear that it is not for him to tell the Burkinabe. It is rather for the people to tell him. Yeah. You understand that? Yes. And an agreement. Partially, I agree with him, and that's what you have exactly what you have already mentioned. Look, everything about us is that we take everything wholesale without any interrogation. What is democracy? How relevant is it to us? We need to understand. Even from the scholarly viewpoint, I mean, governance experts and political scientists have come to a conclusion on about 9 classical forms of democracy. I can't count all of them. But in practice, we have seen various forms of democracy. The Westminster type of democracy, also known as parliamentary democracy, in UK is sharply different from the American presidential system. And Ghana has had the opportunity to practice both. we have had the Prime Minister in line with the Westminster system or the parliamentary system, the first Prime Minister, and then we have had the presidential model. We've had both. Those two are different from the one being practiced in France. And that is why the durations differ. The durations in France is about 5 years, right? In these two countries, in America, 4 years. In England, it depends on the dictates of the situation. In UK, so how can they impose on us? When I say they, I'm referring to the Western imperialists. Impose on us their version of democracy. So as you have rightly said, we are not necessarily opposed to democracy, but we want our own form of democracy. And it is not for anybody to define democracy for us. The concept is one thing, and jurisdictional reality in the implementation of that concept is another. What is good for the UK, and that is parliamentary democracy, may not be good for us. And we have had it. History has told us how we can blend the two. Look, in Arabic we say Hukumu Shab, Bishab, Lishab. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. What I am trying to say is that in spite of all these differences about democracy, there is a fundamental common element, and that is the people. There's no way you can define democracy. There's no way you can practice it without referring to the people. So if we have a common element, why don't we build our own version of democracy based on that common element, the will of the people? My brother, look at, just examine, compare Kwame Nkrumah's one-party system of democracy and the development it ensured in this country, and the current multi-party democracy and the development it is doing for. Just compare the two and tell me which one is better. Which one has been more productive? Go to Singapore. You have cited Libya and Malaysia and others. Go to Singapore. It's the same thing. Right? It's the same thing. So at the end of the day, I am not in favor of military junta. Not at all. I am not. But I am in favor of a kind of democracy that will take us completely from Western manipulations. Even the current democratic governance we are practicing is a product of imposition. You don't know that? People don't know. It's a product of imposition. When Jerry Rawlings, may he rest in peace, was arrogantly asking this question, hand over to whom? Hand over to whom? It was very arrogant. He refused to return the country to democracy. And when Solo and I opposed the gentleman, Torai, who is doing very well, he's doing very well, but it is not for him to carve a nature of democracy for the people. In fact, when Gerollis was asking those questions, and he made it clear that he never had any intention to return the country to democracy, because he didn't trust anybody. And he thought he was the only qualified person to rule this country. That was very arrogant. It took the Western powers to threaten him with development aid. Not him alone. In fact, other people, other leaders in Africa were threatened. And that was the time this Western democratic concept became a dominant system of governance in Africa.
In West Africa.
Yes, especially in West Africa. Nigeria, it was the regime of Sani Abacha. Yeah. You understand that? Yeah. We all came to it. So people don't even know what we are practicing is an imposition by the imperialist forces. Well, if at the end of the day we've been able to learn a lesson from that imposition, we've been able to gather some experience, why don't we fashion out our own form of democracy, very realistic to African needs? Yeah. Why do we always want to be the caricatures of Western concepts? I think that is wrong. But to Ibrahim Traoré, he's a good leader, he's very good, I love him, and I would rather urge him of course, he has been going with the people. He has been going along with the people. I would rather urge him to find time, consult the people, and together they fashion out the Burkinabe oriented form of democracy, or African oriented form of democracy, and practice. I think that would be better, because the way he's speaking, it is a matter of narrowing the whole concept to two choices: either the so-called democracy based on Western culture or military junta. Even the two, the military junta itself is Western. Who taught us how to overthrow our that one too is Western. I'm telling you, even that one too is Western. So if you are claiming that democracy is Western, military junta is equally Western, and I agree. In fact, you've mentioned words that I have been saying every time on this platform. If you want, you can ask my the constitutional tyranny, and I have always argued that it's worse than military junta. It's worse because all forms of dissent are stifled constitutionally and legitimately. They use legitimate means to stifle people from fighting illegitimacy. So, my brother, all I am saying is that yes, I agree that the Western form of democracy is not at all productive to us. Two, we should form our own form of democracy. Three, let us do comparative analysis. The Gaddafi's democratic Libya and the Western democratic Libya, which of them is better?
Gaddafi democratic
Libya.
It's far better.
Far better than the Western democratic Libya.
Right.
Finally, let us all resolve that if we are condemning the two evils, evil democracy and evil military dictatorship, we should stand by that.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I am urging the people of Burkina Faso to ensure that they return to democracy, and urging other people in other African countries to say no, never. Let us, especially Ghana, resolve not to go back to the dark ages of military dictatorship,
right,
when the mere recruit wielded the power of life and death,
right,
when the military uniform was a source of fear and tear,
right,
and when the barracks was a citadel of murder and torture.
Right.
Thank you.
But in a minute.
In some instances, we have collusion governments.
Yes.
It is also there.
Yeah, it's also
there. And I think that is what maybe Travis should be talking.
Yeah.
Well, you don't do that and eliminate the opposition.
No.
You see, no individual is a repository of knowledge.
At all.
And when you are ruling the line, you that are ruling, you wouldn't know how, whether it's straight or it's banal. It is the one behind you. That is why there must be an opposition. Today, NDC is in government. At least they are doing well so far, but there are certain areas they are veering off, and it is the duty of the opposition to tell them, my brother, what you are doing is wrong. Sometimes when we make the noise, but when they go to their office, they reflect. They say, this policy, is it true that what the opposition is saying, can we fine tune it, can we do this and make it better? It is for what? At the end of the day, it's for the betterment of the people of Ghana.
Right. Okay, so we need to move on. Sure. Right. Whatever somebody says, whatever affects, it's a global village, and I keep saying that. Whatever affects Burkina will definitely affect Ghana. Even tomatoes. Safe. Even tomatoes. We were everywhere, right? And that has even taught us a lesson on how to be self-sufficiency when it comes to certain products.
True, my brother.
Anyway,
we are wasting time as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Even tomatoes.
Even tomatoes.
Northern Ghana alone can feed Ghana tomatoes.
Onion is also in the making. Now Nigeria, they've stopped trucks from coming to Ghana with onions.
The basics.
And
that is why we're really the basics. Oh, you don't get the basics right.
One professor told me he told me at Oxford University, he told me that the whole Africa is a showcase of lost opportunities. Bitter truth.
Right. Okay, so let's come back home and deal with issues related to this, because as it looks like the country is on tentacles or something. Am I right to say that? Well, we are waiting for that emergency cabinet meeting to see our smoothness level when it comes to transportation fares, increment in petroleum prices, and the rest. Government says they're going to have a discussion around that to see the way forward. There's been talk about taking away certain taxes and levies on petroleum pricing, right? The margins on these levies, right? So it's all got to do with the escalation of issues in the Middle East. But good news, Iran has given conditions. They agreed to a 2-week, ceasefire based on certain conditions. So what they are saying is that they will allow a 2-week flow of, oil and other commodities along the Strait of Hormuz, right, for 2 weeks. And there are technical issues, so there are conditions to that. But back home, transportation fares are expected to go up. Already, VIP, yesterday, they announced beginning that they're going to increase transportation fare at least about 25% or so. So when you're going to Kumasi, it's now about 120 Ghana cedis or 180 or so, right? Very, very expensive. Now, GPRTU are also waiting for the conclusion of the meeting, of the cabinet meeting. Then they will decide their way forward. So obviously it looks like we are up to face the realities. That is what we need to say. These are the realities. And if government want to cushion, the only way forward is to take off the taxes and also look for other means, transition into renewable energy in the next future. At least Burkina Faso taught us a lesson, and we've lived up to that expectation. So maybe this one will give us a way forward. Bujiba, I want to start with you on this one. It looks very dicey, right? I've also heard some economists suggesting that if government takes away the levies, including the One Ghana's development levy, is going to give us huge problems. We're going to have a gap of almost 18 billion Ghana cedis going into 2027. That means that we need to refinance our economy, our budget. So to speak, that the finance minister will have to go back to parliament and realign certain figures and stuff. Obviously, the economy will face certain realities, right? How do we cushion going forward? At the back of the argument making that if you take away One Ghana cedis, it's really going to affect the economic fortunes. But we need to cushion people. Transportation fares, right? Take that on before I come to the transportation sector itself.
Thank you, bro. For your terminologies, and this, with all respect to my senior brother Doc, your terminologies, your academia, sometimes you have problem with you people. It's about planning. And it's about taking the people along. It's about making sure when there are dangers or critical times, you ameliorate the situation and get the people life getting better small. That is how governance is all about. So if we all know where the problem is coming from. We were enjoying a relatively stable fuel prices in this country until America, Israel, Iran waged war on Iran. It is not Ghana's problem. No. And we all know, we've been told, and that is history, 20% of the well oil passes through Strait of Hormuz, which Iran got angry and also said, no, ship will not pass. In Pakistan, other places, we are even better now. But now we are in that situation. As a responsible government, what do you do? Will you just sit aloof and fold your arms and allow things to handle by nature themselves? If that is the case, what is the purpose of governance? Who put the taxes there? What was the reason to raise revenue? We are now in danger. What can we do? So removing the one cedi, we are so stupid, excuse me to say, as a people, that we can't find other ways of getting this economy run even from next year. Those are political talks. And I wouldn't want to listen to that. You leave the system, then maybe as an opposition member, I may be happy. But the government risks future getting backlash from the people. How we are getting the argument. So aside that, maybe we are only hoping that maybe this may not even prolong from now further, so that things will get back to normalcy. And when things get back to normalcy and we are, can't you bring it back? What will be our problem? It is about getting the information to the people. And Ghanaians are very, very intelligent people. I remember when Professor Mills came, by then President Kufuor has finished this water price, is it? Fair Wages Commission something. Yeah. And the implementation was to start. Single spine. Before we lost power, when Mills came, the thinking was that Ghanaians workers were going to be up in arms against the government. But what did they do? They said, no, you have just come. We'll give you a period to settle a move. That is the culture of the spirit of the Ghanaian. So we all know what is happening. So we are looking up to the government, what the necessary step they will take. But since 3 days today, they have emergency campaign meeting. Emergency, you put emergency meeting in the future. Emergency, but now the meeting should have been held and we are talking of the nation. Like you are the semantics professors.
But maybe perhaps we might not even need the
emergency. I said emergency meetings don't come. Don't be scheduled in futures. If it's future, then
if it's emergency, it should happen then.
Now, by now, I think President is in France.
Yeah.
I think he should have even held the meeting before even moving to France. Then instruct his managing minister and finance minister to the necessary steps. Yeah, you only go to the meeting, you give instructions to your appointees, and they will start the implementation. That's emergency. But if you say emergency meeting don't put it. There's no emergency. So that one day, I don't think the president and the NDC they are serious with it. But if you joke, my brother,
please let him land. He has the floor. Please allow Mujib to land.
No, I'm finished, but I'm now talking of the way they are trying to confuse us by saying emergency. What is emergency about? Emergency should have been held long ago. When the prices started,
the description of
the prices
emergency?
Today, when I was coming, I bought petrol is 13 point something at Allied.
Yes.
And it's now Shell is even 14 point something. But we also that when the increment started coming, we saw it. We know we were going to be affected. That emergency should have been long held ago. Not now we are even putting in the future.
But even there might not even be the need because for the next 2 weeks, the oil flow will continue because they will move straight.
So they are dilly-dallying to see now that maybe we are going to get this truth. We need to do this too with if there's flooded the food oil, the prices will fall. So there won't be need for emergency. You see?
No, but on a very serious note, in the cabinet, they have a plan, a meeting. There's cabinet, they know every appointee or every cabinet member knows that at this point in time we have cabinet meeting. Anything short of that is seen as an emergency.
Why not it's around there?
The emergency has kept long in camp. Anything that is emergency happens.
I said they want to trick us again.
But let me come in, please. But before General Counsel, you have given me a word. In pragmatics, that's the language used in context.
Okay.
2 elements are considered at all times. 2 elements are considered: the content and the context. So if you do not consider the context, you might be wrong. For example, if you are in America and you want to go to your hotel in America or where you are lodging, you can say you are somewhere, I'm going home. Contextually, that home refers to your hotel.
That's right.
If you are coming back to Ghana, you can say tomorrow I'll go home. Contextually, the home here refers to Ghana.
That's right.
If I am from Tamale and I'm resident here, anytime at all I want to visit home, Tamale, I tell my people, my colleagues that I'm going home. The same home here, contextually will refer to Tamale. So you have one content, different context. So I want to believe that the emergency here refers to the extraordinary nature of the meeting. You understand that? And that emergency meeting is to be held so that it can be proactive. So there is an element of proactiveness here in relation to that emergency. And therefore it is still semantically justified.
Thank you. The grammarian, we are watching.
We understand why where we are today, and I also share the situation or the condition of the transport operators wanting to increase fares. I mean, as human as they are, I'm not sure they would drive joy from just increasing fares. And you and I will agree. We have discussed this one several times on this table. Even on Saturday, there was an in-depth discussion on the effect of the war in the Gulf. I mean, the rising cost of crude at the world market is a global issue. And as such, we have to acknowledge and accept that the transport operators are not doing that because they just want to rake in so much profit. And so, like, there's a variable. And the variable is the the world crude oil. Anytime there's an increase at the world price, there's a cost added at the pump, at the pump. And so this is a general problem that's not only faced, it's not a Ghana problem, it's a global problem. And I'm sure, like we all wake up this morning to hear that Trump have accepted the 10 points of the Iranian regime. If like the regional government, I don't know why they call it a regime anyway. Yeah, semantics. Yeah, that's right. So for the next 2 weeks, let's see what happens. Even if the Strait of Hormuz allows fuel to pass, the Iranians allow fuel to pass, but it's going at a fee. In the past, they were not paying anything for it.
It was not even
manned. It's just a free port. You pass through. But today, it's part of the 10 points that accepted by Trump. That even yes, we'll allow these ships to pass through, but you pay $2 million US dollars in the Chinese yuan equivalent. And I'm sure the world politics is shifting gradually. And the power that America have now, I'm sure this war has taught all of us a lesson.
It's exposed them.
Yeah, but coming back home, I'm not sure that the increment of the world crude has risen up to 25%. I'm not sure. I've not done the calculation. So why are fares going up by 25%? Even though we share in pain, we share the challenge the transport owners have.
In fact, they gave 2 reasons.
Okay.
Fuel,
So
maintenance.
yes.
Right.
No, so I'm not sure the cost of spare parts have gone up, because the CD to the dollar has not changed, and mostly at the export of these spare parts, the dollar is a determinant factor. Okay, and you and I will agree that government has done so well to keep the CD at where it is now. And so if it is about crude, if it is about petroleum products, I mean, we agree, because at the place of the confusion, it's all about crude. It's all about crude. Our other ports, where we come through with our spare parts and all those things, vehicles and all those things, has not been affected. And if you come to our market, the price hasn't changed. If the price has changed at the market, no, we are just taking advantage of the situation to increase prices without anybody controlling it. And so I think that the transport, just as we share with them the situation, they should also accept the fact that the increment is not up to 25%. Even though government, we all agree, we all are here that will meet them to have a further discussion, cabinet will discuss and all that. Taxes haven't gone up. In fact, the taxes that has been added to this petroleum is what they are asking that they should remove. The 1 Ghana cedi at the X pump, at the pump. That is where they are calling that should be an intervention, and that is just a proposal. But revenue, we need revenue to sustain critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure. We were talking about building of roads. These monies don't come from anywhere, they come from the taxes. And you agree with me that at the time the world crude was selling at 83 Ghana cedis in the immediate past administration, the cost of petroleum product, especially petrol and diesel, was not being sold at 13 cedis. In fact, it went up to almost 20 something. Today, it has exceeded even $100 per barrel. But still, we're able to maintain the price at 13. Even something that we have not planned, is an unplanned something. So if we are all calling for that 1 cedi to remove, we should ask ourselves, where is government going to make money to take care of our hospitals, to take care of the education infrastructure that is being built now, to take care of the roads you and I are talking about?
Would you have rather your people suffer?
Yeah, so no, I think that we have to adjust, we have to do certain, exactly. I mean certain adjustments, but not to say entirely that 1 Ghana cedi should be removed, because like the calculation you made,
is this
about 17?
Is this just about, because I'm seeing the political angles, not just from you, but from both parties when they talk about this one Ghana levy. It's not just the money, right? It's a policy, and because it's coming from one government, you know. So I don't know where.
No, I just think that.
Because if you talk about one Ghana city levy shouldn't. I know the amounts it generates, but looking at the way the commentaries are going, it looks more political than the real value.
No, but the facts are that
exactly.
The facts are that when this government administration got the economy on its footing, there were some taxes that were removed. You remember the nuisance taxes, right? The energy levy, and all those things. I mean, that is the feeling of a good government. Government that feels that they should alleviate the suffering of the masses. They should alleviate the suffering of the Ghanaian. And so we did it. But at this critical point, it is a global issue. An issue that we have to, for now, try to make certain adjustments. If we are even calling for government to meet the people halfway, to alleviate the suffering that is going to impact on us. Fair enough. But to say entirely that one Ghana city should be removed from it, no, it's a fact. Because we cannot grant this country to a halt. We can't. We cannot grant that.
Right.
Government pays salaries, all right. Government pays salaries. Government expand infrastructure. And many other things.
Let's leave until after cabinet.
No, but you see, people have made a conclusive statement on this. As though when at the end of the day, government come and make a decision, then they will tie the decision to what they have determined government should do. But I think that we have to fair to government. In fact, it is not about government, it's about the people.
Of course.
Okay, it's about the people. I'm not sure one Ghana city that, in fact, how much were we buying crude? Like I mentioned, I mean, gas at the ex-pump. I mean, at the pump. We were buying it before the war. It means that government has shown a way. Government is not taking advantage of anybody to make to raise a revenue. Not at all. And so we have to accept it the way it is, and then we'll support government to be able to alleviate our suffering, because the impact it has given to the world. I'm sure when you listen to other commentaries from other countries, you will see that our situation is far, far, far better. Right. It's not in the case when we had the war in Russia, where there was nothing tied to that war. There's an effect. No, there's an effect. Mujib, there's an effect. No, Mujib, 20%.
I'm only letting him know you've turned towards him.
Yes. 20% of the world crude petroleum product passes through the Strait of Hormuz. 20%. And there's another place, I forgot the name. There's another place they are even thinking of, blocking again. You understand?
Right.
So it's a very challenging situation, and I think that we have to bear with government. Government have shown a good will in the past. Government is still showing a good will.
Bear with us and take us our suffering.
And look.
It's all about making sure that's all what governance is all about, right? Make sure that your people live comfortable, at least comfortable lives. And I've also heard people say that even if we take out the one Ghana city, somebody somewhere will have to pay. Will have to cut funding, maybe in health or sports, or something will happen somewhere in trying to cushion the Ghanaian. So definitely, the Ghanaian will still pay.
Yeah, the Ghana City, but I'm just saying that this one Ghana City levy is part of a broader, activity to make sure that the economy stands on its footing.
Right.
This war should not destroy our economy. We have used almost 1.5 years to sustain the economy, to put the economy back to track. And I'm sure this conflict should not be the reason why we go back to where we're coming from.
There's this thought that, Doug, I'm coming to you. Whilst we wait for cabinet to have that emergency meeting, we need to start looking into the future. That's why we have the Ministry of Energy and Transition, or Energy Transition or something.
Yeah, green.
We need to transit, right, from one era. And as I indicated, we run a fuel economy, right? Our economy is ramped up around fuel. Anything that touches fuel touches our economy. Yeah. I have heard commentary from the president that there's going to be a bill placed before Parliament, the new economy bill, where they have to look at certain issues within the try to refinance their own economy. And they made that assertion, I think, when he met at the Kwao Summit, right? That there's going to be a bill very soon. They will lay it before Parliament, the new economy bill, waiting for it to be assembled to become an act. Others are calling for a better regulation of the transport sector while we transition. I've had people, and I'm thinking along certain individuals who think that, well, in trying to solve the situation, we're trying to bring some sanity in our transport system by bringing in some new buses. Yeah. We're expecting 300 by the close of the year, already 100 in. Was it a misplaced priority that whilst we are having this kind of challenge, we bring in fuel consumption vehicles instead of going for EV, just to be able to stand on a certain position? What would be your reading into all this? The need to transition from fuel economy into maybe some renewable forms of energy. Within this period, I don't know what cabinets would think along that line, but obviously it raises this question, trying to, lower our dependence on fuel.
Thank you so much. I agree with you. I would rather call it a mismatch between policy formulation and policy implementation. It is a big mismatch, and it is not good for us you see, Jomama, with all humility, is doing very well. But we should know that he's not an angel. He's a human being. He's bound to err. He's also, even if he has been promoted to the level of angels, he's still working with human beings who have their own share of human fallibilities. So he's bound to err. And then you come to, I'm happy you have pointed it out, the mismatch between what we intend to do and what we are doing now, which does not give indication that we are in a position to achieve what we have intended to do. It's not right. And it's not only in the government of the Republic of Ghana. When you go to Saudi Arabia, they are even the giants of the petrochemical industry. They are the giants, but they themselves are trying to do away with that. They are trying to remove their economy so that it will no longer be solely dependent on the fuel or the oil. And so they are moving away. What we are witnessing is the situation of ideation and implementation. I'm referring to the emergency meeting. It's a matter of ideation and implementation. And between ideation and implementation is the will of the people, or if you like, the interest of the people. I don't want to believe that in defense of partisan policy, the one Ghana cedi levy cannot be altered. I don't want to believe that. I also don't want to believe that it is the only solution to our situation, our uncomfortable situation. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that it must go. I don't want to believe that it must stay. I want to believe that tackling it should be dictated by the realities on the ground. If there is a way we can maintain it and adjust any areas, why not? If there is a way that we can do away with it and still adjust other areas to achieve what it was intended to, why not? And I think it takes patriotism, not partisanship, not NDC, MPP duopoly, to ensure that it is well implemented. Let me make it clear that anytime at all you have a good policy and then you intend to implement it, you should not also be oblivious of unforeseen circumstances that may challenge the implementation of that policy. Who about a year ago knew that there would be globally affected fire in the Middle East? We all didn't know that. We didn't know. Even those scholars of international relations, scholars of global affairs could think that in the future we could have such a war. We did not also take into consideration the ramifications, the consequences. We didn't know. We in our part of the world didn't know, because if Middle East is burning, what is our interest? We didn't know. But because we are in an era of globalization, whatever happens anywhere has an effect or effects on us. So I agree with you that if that is our deliberate policy, to move away from the fuel-dependent economy to the economy which is driven by renewable energy, then our our action should dictate that. I like that. Our action should dictate that. If we are importing buses, those buses should be in line with the future implementation of our policies, and that is proactiveness. If you go and get the bill passed, and then you have buses that are largely driven by fuel, definitely, I mean, you have already shut down your own policy. And I don't think we are just designing the policies for fun. We are designing them for effective implementation. So I strongly believe that this should be a lesson. But let me also say that I'm so much happy. Today, both NDC and MPP know that external circumstances can affect the quality of governance. Thank you.
I think you were anxious to say so. We can move on, right?
I know, Mujib is a very honest politician. He listens to truth.
All right, okay, so let's look at, we have some few minutes, but I think that this is something we need to look at on the mining sector. And for me, I'm elated that an indigenous company, right, has taken over, part of our mining sector. And it's all got to do with the EMP winning the Namang mining lease. At the back of that, people are sending me messages that we should be talking about, is it the Bogoso Prestia mines inspection? People think that because of the success story of EMP, the current situation at Bogoso Prestia, we should do same with Damang and hand over the the Bogoso Prestia mines to an indigenous company. And that story, first of all, is in the Inside newspaper. I want us to see how we can tie that in. It comes that stakeholders have raised serious concerns over the credibility of a recent inspection at the Bogoso Prestia mine, calling for the immediate constitution of an independent technical team to validate earlier findings. In the petitioner addressed the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the group argued that key operational and technical issues were not physically, continues on page 10, were not physically, where is the story? Goodness. Okay, I'll get the continuation of the story. Should be on the inspection during the exercise led by officials from the Minerals Commission. According to the petitioners, critical concerns including capital investment, employee entitlements, tailings safety, dewatering activities, and the structural integrity of mining infrastructure were overlooked. They further alleged that much of the inspection was limited to boardroom discussion with management, whilst field assessments were either incomplete or entirely absent. Okay, so they want that any report based on such limited engagement risks misrepresentation the true state of operations at the time. The petitions are therefore urging government to commission an independent and transparent technical review to safeguard national interest and restore confidence in the process. Right, so obviously there's some issues at Bogoso Prestia mine, and I've seen comments on Facebook and people want us to tie that in and calling for what happened at the mine to happen at Bogoso because of some kind of, what do you think, at misdealings in the Bogoso Prestia mine. But first, comments on the Damang mining lease that has been taken over by EMP after excelling in the bid. I think a bidding committee was set up, right, and then that 500 million cedis minimum threshold was met by EMP. First of all, as I indicated, for me, an indigenous company, you know, has been able to raise financing for such huge project, and we should celebrate that.
Yeah, so first of all, let me congratulate the management of EMP for winning this concession. EMP is one of the indigenous company, like you said, but also it's one of the oldest local company that has been involved in mining. In fact, EMP started with gold fields where they were doing sublet contracts, where contracts that was meant for, I think, in the drilling. They were experts in drilling. They have all the equipments for drilling, and so that's how EMP started. And you agree with me, EMP became what it is today, not when NDC was in power. At the time, President Kufuor was the president, and he was leveraged. He was given the advantage to take over that contract. And I'm sure the noises, let me quote, the noises that we are hearing here is as a result of John Mahama being the president, and the CEO for EMP is his brother. And that is where the concern is. It's not about is a local contractor or not a local contractor, because even those contractors that he went into the bidding process with, I know one local contractor that was also part of it. But comparatively, I'm not sure that company has a track record of going into mines. I'm not sure. But the main core job that EMP does is mining. And if you Google now to find out the best local contractor, the best local company that is into mining, EMP will be one. I mean, it will be number one. Maybe others will follow later. I'm not even able to tell how many local contractors I know who are in mining. No, I'm not able to tell. So it's good news, and you know that when you have local contractors or indigenous companies taking over state, assets like this to manage, the jobs that is going to be created, the taxes are going to be raised, everything that's going to go on, the resources will still remain in Ghana. And I'm sure that's what we're all looking for. And so I'm looking for, in future, we'll have big companies like EP, not the MP, construction pioneers, right? Big companies that can do almost all the jobs. Like we have this contractor from the Upper West, what is the name? The one doing the motorway.
From Upper West.
No, the one doing the motorway. Marapoma. If you see the quality of work they are doing, I don't see why we should invite local foreign contractors to even bid for contracts in Ghana. Because we need to have contractors. I know about 3 contractors, indigenous contractors, Mahum's company. I mean, I've seen their work, I've seen their breed, the quality of things that they do. And this is what we must be interested in. Until the time we stop politicizing everything in this country, we will not get to wherever you are going. And so I think that listening to the minister, they have spelled out the committee and the procedures that was involved in the bidding process. And I'm sure that there was a fair deal. Nobody was tortured. And even those who were part of the company who were part of this process have agreed that due diligence, was done. And we think that we should laud the ministry and the minister for allowing some of these things, because we know companies outside Ghana, mostly Chinese companies, will come and offer big, I don't want to call bribes. They will come and make big offers to individuals, and they will pass behind to consider inducement. That's right. They will pass behind to consider some of these contracts in favor of those foreign companies. But I'm happy that due diligence has been done. Engineers and planners have actually gone through successfully, and we think that they will follow the environmental. For you're making reference to Bogosu Prisia, so I'm sure that in doing this mining, the due process will be followed so that we will not have an instances where the environment will be deeply depleted. Yeah.
Empowering indigenous companies.
I've been here for some time, and you know my position. My position when it comes to locals, I am very passionate about it, and I always do that for a reason, because I know maybe very soon when we are getting to Christmas, you will see us crying over dollar thing. It is when all your critical sectors are being dominated by foreigners, and you are sitting outside. And we have experienced it as a country for far too long. And when they make the profit, where do they take the profit? They repatriate the profit, and you are sitting there empty. That alone has economic implications. So for a life of a Ghana, a country that is 69 years independent, today we are seeing a locals, contractors venturing into the critical sectors, mining, oil, construction, and other areas, agri. I think we have to support them. I am looking forward tomorrow, Alaji, even if we are not there, we are dead and gone. But this government should be deliberate to produce the Dangotes in Ghana. Who doesn't know Ibrahim Mahama track records in this country? It doesn't have to be in terms of his philanthropiness, helping all manner of people, just like my brother said. When we were told how he started his business under President Kufuor since the 2000s up to now. So, and what I will beg of we the young politicians, we shouldn't tie the businesses to politics. When we do that, it doesn't even help. Whether it's NDC or MPP, it is Ghana first. Sure. Ibrahim Mahama is a Ghanaian. And he started his EMP company getting, just like he was saying, getting his other things doing. I think he didn't just venture direct into mining. No. He started somewhere. Yeah, I hope you are getting the argument. Long even before his brother have intention even to become president. Yeah. But even the question I ask is, so if the president is your brother, so because the president is your brother, is the president that feed you? So when you don't go out to work and you are sleeping in your bedroom, so the president will get a salary and always give you something to go and eat. Why are we talking like that? Okay, now I have read what the Minister of Lands and Forestry has put out, and I think so far the other two companies who have not gotten has not come out to complain. Like sometimes when you bid, even at your own local level, you know, when you go and a committee give the report and you look at it, you go back to say, this place I didn't meet the requirement. This place I was wrong. You yourself within you understand. And do you know why contractors do that across all? They go that because you learn. Next time when you are going, then you know better. So you become experienced in that angle. So I am happy this time around, very critical area, when the profits are made, it will not be sent outside, it will be there. And that is not the other areas. We have to encourage the others. And government should be deliberate, bringing other people, other local Ghanaians. And me, bro, you are a journalist. My worry is that the secretaries at the ministries and agencies, yes, nobody is discriminating against the Chinese, Lebanese, or foreigners. But when you go there as a young businessman, because you are black like them, the treatment they give you, it's not nothing. I just don't understand. But as soon as they see the Chinese man, Alaji, you'll be shocked. How you are getting the argument? Sometimes it's demotivating the individual to keep pushing. Lack of self-confidence. So if you go back to this, our brothers that we are discussing today, the Ibrahim, the Marapoma, the what and what you see, what they went through in this various sectors, it's not easy. By our own people. Why? So tomorrow when the dollar is shooting, then you go to market, the prices are high, you're complaining. You are part of the cause. Because Ibrahim cannot run away this country, even if he has foreign partners and other things. But majority, we don't know how his business did. But majority of his proceeds will stay in Ghana here. Economically, it will benefit the country. And he's employing local people. Alaji, I read the local content agreement or acts on the oil sector. It was very disheartening. There are certain aspects of that local destiny you can't get the local people in unless foreigners, especially when it comes to the technical aspect of it. The reason was that they pick you as a technical person. Within some few years, you get the knowledge. And when you get the knowledge, you need them again.
No, you form your own.
But we were only put at down the artisanal level, welding and all those things, but the technical aspect. But I am looking one day, we'll be talking of somebody's story also. Maybe it could be any one of us and others outside in the oil sector.
I call it knowledge colonialism.
I'm telling you, Nkrumah actually was a visionary.
Oh, yes.
See, these guys,
Yeah.
they will always find a way of locking you behind.
Yeah.
They are greedy. You could see Trump. Trump is just fighting because of Iran oil. I'm telling you. And you know, God exposed him when he said we can take over Strait of Hormuz and take their oil. Why are you taking the oil? Literally, you are going to steal.
You can't even
So I said the guy, now God has exposed him. He can't hide. And a classical example is Venezuela. You go and take Maduro and now you put somebody there, you put them there, and you are now siphoning the oil. He knows he's going, so he wants to steal.
I'm enjoying the submission of my
There's nothing wrong in Iran. He wants to steal their oil. That is the only thing. He know he's going. 2 years time he will not be president. He will own personal fortunes.
Sure.
By now, they are stealing.
All right, so I'm happy the two politicians have shown the way. And let me tell you, look, what we are witnessing will offer to us in two ways. Two fundamental things in two ways. As individuals, it will give us a sense of self-dignity, self-confidence, self-respect. As a nation, it will give us the quality of sovereignty that our own can handle our own. That alone is good for us. But let me also be, as an academic, we normally do not state only the positive. You also need to look at the negative, the negativity. And here it is not necessarily a negativity, but it is a matter of time. Imagine my elder brother, the CEO of engineers, EPR, and planners, not to be consumed by complacency. He should not allow complacency, to dictate his approach to this issue. I can tell you that in spite of the political maneuverings and everything, at the end of the day, if he as an individual comes out and Ghanaians are asked to vote, forget about the technicalities of bidding, voting, ordinary voting, who should handle what, I strongly believe that he will win that election. But a lot depends on him.
Okay.
And therefore, he should not allow complacency. Right. He should rather allow vindication.
Right.
I wish him all the best of luck.
And he shouldn't let Ghanaians, the majority of Ghanaians who want him, he shouldn't let them down. He should prove them wrong. Right. All right.
So in a nutshell, not complacency, but vindication.
Right. Okay, let's do one or two messages and then we'll be done for this morning. This one says, hello, good morning. Please let Ghanaians take the submission of Doctor on democracy seriously, because it is the panacea for Africans. True liberation from excessive exploitation, corruption in the government, abject poverty, slavery, and misery. That's from Reverend Father Yao Aponsan Ignatius James. Thank you so much, Reverend Father. Right. Hi, David. Can the panelists highlight on the Bogosu? Okay, all right. Okay, the Bogosu Prestia mines too. This is because even the chiefs are rejecting the second bidder, Hit Goldfields. It's high time EMP gets that mine too. Okay. Yeah, people are now calling for him to take over, complete takeover. Sami Boachi Asamankesi says it has become abundantly clear that the administrations led by Nana Akufo-Addo have been vindicated, exposing those who employ propaganda and insults to attain power. The assertions made against Nana Akufo-Addo have proven hollow, and their propagandists are now being held accountable. When John Mahama caution about the potential for his brother to engage in corrupt practices on the it is please I don't even get. Let's keep these things. Good morning, I am Eben from Kwabenya. The NPP should stop pretending and the noise making in our ears. I don't think Honorable Fujo listen to himself at all. All right, thank you. Let me do this last one. This one is from Masawood in Kumasi, Bantama. The pastors who ran a series of campaigns against the NPP in the run-up to the 2024 election should reciprocate same energy on the current NDC government to let JM assent to the bill, or their credibility is at stake. They should organize same match the Jubilee House and let's all follow them. Hypocrisy and dishonesty. But Twaso in opposition or what? I don't get it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
No, but you see, this last texter,
I need to
this
go.
last texter, I mean, there must be a serious education on what it takes for the president to sign any work that's done by Parliament. Because this bill was raised. Okay, it went through. No, that's it. Most people are suffering. That's okay.
You don't respond to them. How about them?
Truly African.